A jeweler's loop. My wife in 1978 bought me a gift, and that's for looking at jewelry, looking for diamonds, looking at gold. It's like a little magnifying glass, and I've worn it each and every day since 1978. It's my tool of the trade.
They were reality TV gold, the faces that made hardcore pawn legendary. But what happened next will shock you to your core. One beloved star was found dead at just 48. Another caught stealing on live television and dragged away in handcuffs. A trusted friend of 25 years, exposed in $1 million betrayal that destroyed everything. Some vanished without a trace. Others fell into addiction and crime. The dark secrets behind their disappearances will leave you speechless.
Employee for 25 years. Rich was 19 when he started. I've groomed him. I've made him a successful pawnbroker. That's the key. And one of the things that I try to do with my key employees is make them a pawnbroker, because one day I'm not going to be around, and I have to make sure that my crew understands the business and can run it when I'm not here.
You'll never look at hardcore pawn the same way again. The show centered around the Gold family and their team of employees who worked in what many considered one of Detroit's most challenging retail environments. Les Gold, the shop's owner, had built his business over decades, establishing American Jewelry and Loan as a significant presence in the city's pawn industry. The daily operations involved high-stakes negotiations, emotional customer interactions, and the constant pressure of evaluating items that ranged from family heirlooms to questionable merchandise. What made Hardcore Pawn different from other reality shows was its raw, unfiltered approach to documenting daily life in a working pawn shop. Unlike scripted dramas, the conflicts and tensions viewers saw were often genuine reactions to real business situations. Customers arrived desperate for money, angry about previous transactions, or hopeful about the value of their possessions. The staff had to navigate these emotions while maintaining security and profitability. The show's success stemmed from its authentic portrayal of working-class struggles and the complex dynamics between the Gold family members. Les Gold served as the authoritative figure, making final decisions on major purchases and handling the most difficult customers. His children, Seth and Ashley, brought different perspectives to the business, often clashing over management styles and negotiation tactics. This family tension, combined with the unpredictable nature of pawnshop customers, created compelling television that kept audiences engaged week after week. Behind the cameras, however, the reality was more complex than what viewers saw during their 30-minute episodes. The employees who appeared on screen were real people with genuine lives, families, and personal challenges that extended far beyond their roles on television. While the show brought fame and recognition to many staff members, it also exposed them to pressures and scrutiny that some were not prepared to handle. The pawn shop environment itself presented unique challenges that most retail workers never encounter. Employees dealt with customers who were often in desperate financial situations, leading to heightened emotions and potential conflicts. Security concerns were constant, as valuable merchandise and cash transactions created attractive targets for criminal activity. Staff members needed to be skilled in evaluation, negotiation, conflict resolution, and security awareness simultaneously. For viewers, the show provided entertainment through its dramatic confrontations and surprising discoveries. Customers brought in everything from rare musical instruments to questionable antiques, creating moments of excitement when valuable items were identified, or disappointment when expected treasures proved worthless. The educational aspect of learning about different types of merchandise and their market values added another layer of appeal for audiences. However, the reality TV format also created artificial pressures that affected everyone involved in the production. Staff members had to perform their regular job duties while being filmed, knowing that their actions and words would be broadcast to millions of viewers. This constant scrutiny added stress to an already demanding work environment, and sometimes led to decisions that prioritized television drama over sound business practices. The show's popularity brought increased attention to American Jewelry and Loan, resulting in more customers and higher-profile transactions. While this growth benefited the business financially, It also intensified the pressure on employees who were still learning to balance their roles as both retail workers and television personalities. Some adapted well to this dual responsibility, while others struggled with the additional demands. Among the various employees who appeared on Hardcore Pawn over its 9-season run, several left under circumstances that revealed the serious challenges facing those who worked in this high-pressure environment. Their departures highlighted the fact that behind the entertainment value of reality television were real people dealing with genuine struggles, personal demons, and life-changing decisions. The Chicago spin-off of Hardcore Pawn introduced viewers to a different location and new faces, including security personnel who brought their own unique personalities to the franchise. One of these individuals was Carlos Diaz, a security guard whose bold personality and fearless approach to conflict made him a memorable figure for viewers of the Chicago location. Carlos stood out among the security staff for his willingness to confront difficult situations head-on. Unlike guards who preferred to maintain a low profile, Carlos actively engaged with problematic customers and was not hesitant to challenge authority when he felt circumstances warranted it. His dramatic exits from tense situations became a signature characteristic that fans of the Chicago spin-off came to expect and appreciate. Viewers remember Carlos as someone who brought intensity and authenticity to every scene he appeared in. His approach to security work was hands-on and direct, reflecting a personality that did not back down from confrontation. Whether dealing with angry customers who felt they had been treated unfairly, or addressing concerns with management about working conditions, Carlos maintained a consistent attitude of standing up for what he believed was right. Behind his television persona, Carlos was a dedicated father and valued friend to those who knew him personally. His colleagues at the pawn shop respected his commitment to his work and his willingness to handle the most challenging aspects of security duty. The dangerous nature of working in a pawn shop environment, particularly in areas with high crime rates, required security personnel who could remain calm under pressure while being prepared to act decisively when situations escalated. The demands of working in such an environment took a toll on many employees, but Carlos seemed to handle the stress better than most. His confidence in dealing with difficult customers and his ability to diffuse tense situations made him a valuable member of the team. However, the constant pressure of maintaining security in a high-risk environment, combined with the additional scrutiny of being filmed for television, created challenges that were not always visible to viewers. In 2014, tragedy struck the Hardcore Pawn family when Carlos was found unresponsive in his home. At just 48 years old, his sudden death shocked colleagues, friends, and fans who had come to appreciate his contributions to the show. The circumstances surrounding his passing highlighted the reality that behind every dramatic scene and entertaining confrontation on television were real people living authentic lives with genuine struggles and challenges. For fans of the Chicago spin-off, Carlos's death represented the loss of someone who had brought energy and excitement to their viewing experience. His absence left a noticeable gap in the show's dynamic, reminding everyone involved that the entertainment they provided came at a personal cost for those who appeared on screen. The tragedy also served as a sobering reminder about the pressures faced by reality TV participants. While viewers enjoyed the drama and excitement of watching confrontations and negotiations, the people involved were dealing with real-world consequences that extended far beyond their television appearances. The stress of working in a challenging environment while being constantly filmed created unique pressures that not everyone was equipped to handle long-term. Carlos's story illustrates the complex reality behind reality television production. While the shows provided entertainment and financial opportunities for participants, they also exposed individuals to scrutiny and pressure that could have lasting effects on their personal lives. His death marked a turning point for many viewers who began to recognize that the people they watched on screen were more than just characters created for their entertainment. The loss of Carlos Diaz was particularly significant because it represented the first major tragedy to affect the Hardcore Pawn family directly. His death forced both producers and viewers to confront the reality that the intense, high-pressure environment that made for compelling television also created genuine risks for those who worked in it daily. Unfortunately, Carlos would not be the last member of the hardcore pawn family to face serious personal challenges or tragic outcomes. His death marked the beginning of a series of departures that would reveal the darker side of reality television and the serious consequences that could result from the pressures of working in such a demanding and scrutinized environment. While the tragic loss of Carlos Diaz highlighted the human cost of working in a high-pressure reality TV environment, other departures from hardcore pawn revealed a different but equally troubling pattern. Several employees left the show not due to personal tragedies, but because of criminal activities and serious misconduct that betrayed the trust placed in them by their employers and colleagues. The pawn shop industry operates on a foundation of trust and security that extends beyond typical retail environments. Employees handle valuable merchandise daily, from expensive jewelry and electronics to rare collectibles and precious metals. This constant exposure to high-value items, combined with the cash-intensive nature of pawn transactions, creates opportunities for theft that require businesses to maintain strict security protocols and carefully vet their staff. American Jewelry and Loan, like most successful pawn shops, implemented comprehensive security measures to protect both merchandise and financial assets. Surveillance cameras monitored all areas of the shop. Transaction procedures included multiple verification steps, and valuable items were secured in locked cases and safes. However, these precautions could only protect against external threats. When employees themselves became the source of criminal activity, the damage extended far beyond financial losses, to include broken trust and damaged reputations. Carl Bell appeared to be exactly the type of employee that any pawn shop would want on their team. Working at the Chicago location featured in the Hardcore Pawn spin-off, Carl demonstrated reliability in his daily duties and developed positive relationships with both customers and colleagues. His ability to handle transactions efficiently and his friendly demeanor with customers made him a recognizable face to viewers who followed the Chicago operation. Behind his professional exterior, however, Carl was struggling with a gambling addiction that would ultimately lead to his downfall. What may have started as occasional recreational betting gradually escalated into a compulsive behavior that consumed increasing amounts of his time and money. As his gambling debts mounted, Carl found himself in desperate need of funds to continue feeding his addiction and cover his growing financial obligations. The transition from recreational gambling to problematic behavior often occurs gradually, making it difficult for colleagues and supervisors to recognize the warning signs until serious damage has already occurred. In Carl's case, his gambling addiction progressed to the point where he was willing to risk his career, reputation, and freedom to obtain money for continued betting activities. In 2014, Carl's secret life was exposed when he was arrested and charged with felony theft. The accusations against him were serious and extensive, involving the theft of more than $40,000 worth of merchandise from the very pawn shop that had employed and trusted him. Among the stolen items were luxury Rolex watches and other high-value pieces that represented significant financial losses for the business. The investigation revealed that Carl had developed a sophisticated scheme to steal merchandise and convert it into cash to support his gambling habit. Rather than simply taking items and selling them privately, Carl had been repawning the stolen merchandise at other locations, creating a paper trail that eventually led investigators back to him. This method allowed him to obtain quick cash while initially avoiding detection, but it also provided evidence that would ultimately prove his guilt. For the owners and management of the Chicago pawn shop, Carl's betrayal represented more than just financial theft. As someone who had been trusted with access to valuable merchandise and given responsibility for customer transactions, his criminal activities called into question the entire security and oversight system that the business relied upon to operate safely and profitably. The revelation that Carl had been stealing from his employers while appearing on television added another layer of complexity to the situation. Viewers who had watched him interact with customers and handle transactions were forced to reconsider everything they had seen. wondering how much of his on-screen persona had been genuine and how long his criminal activities had been occurring. What made Carl's case even more shocking was the discovery that he had not been acting alone. Investigations revealed that Jeremy Jackson, another employee at the Chicago location, had been involved in the same theft scheme. Jeremy's role in the operation came to light when authorities noticed patterns in his behavior that suggested he was connected to Carl's criminal activities. Jeremy Jackson had maintained a lower profile on the show, compared to some of his more dramatic colleagues, but viewers still recognized him as part of the busy Chicago pawn shop environment. His involvement in the theft scheme surprised many fans who had seen him as simply another hardworking employee trying to make a living in a challenging industry. The investigation into Jeremy's activities revealed that he had been helping Carl steal and repawn valuable merchandise to support their shared gambling habits. As a part-time worker, Jeremy's sudden acquisition of high-value items to pawn at other locations raised red flags with investigators who were already examining Carl's activities. The connection between the two employees became clear as authorities traced the movement of stolen merchandise through various pawn shops in the area. Jeremy was ultimately charged with felony theft for his role in the scheme, facing serious legal consequences that would end his career at the pawn shop and potentially result in significant jail time. His arrest demonstrated that the theft operation had been more extensive than initially suspected, involving multiple employees who had coordinated their efforts to maximize their illegal profits. The combined criminal activities of Carl and Jeremy dealt a severe blow to the reputation of the Chicago hardcore pawn operation. Fans who had tuned in expecting entertaining drama found themselves questioning the integrity of the entire production. The revelation that employees were stealing from the business while being filmed for television raised uncomfortable questions about oversight and security that extended beyond the immediate criminal charges. While Carl and Jeremy's crimes occurred at the Chicago location, similar problems were affecting the original Detroit operation. Christina, who worked as a window clerk at American Jewelry and Loan, had built a reputation as a steady and reliable employee who handled the administrative aspects of pawn transactions with competence and professionalism. Christina's role involved processing paperwork, managing customer interactions at the service window, and handling various clerical duties that kept the shop running smoothly. While she was not typically involved in the high-drama negotiations and confrontations that made for compelling television, her consistent presence and professional demeanor made her a familiar face to regular viewers of the show. The shocking turn in Christina's story came during the 8th season, when she was caught stealing on camera. The incident was captured by the same surveillance system that was intended to protect the business from external theft, creating an uncomfortable situation where reality TV cameras recorded a real crime in progress. The footage revealed Christina pocketing money during what appeared to be a routine customer transaction. The discovery of her theft was particularly jarring because it occurred in full view of the cameras that were documenting daily operations for television broadcast. This meant that her criminal activity was not only witnessed by management and colleagues, but would potentially be seen by millions of viewers when the episode aired. Les Gold's reaction to Christina's theft was swift and uncompromising. As the owner of American Jewelry and Loan, he had built his business on principles of trust and integrity that were essential for operating successfully in the pawn industry. The discovery that an employee was stealing from the business represented a fundamental violation of that trust that could not be overlooked or forgiven. The confrontation between Christina and management was captured on camera, creating one of the most uncomfortable moments in hardcore pawn history. Unlike the stage drama that characterized many reality TV shows, this was a genuine criminal investigation unfolding in real time. The police were called, and Christina was arrested on the premises, with her removal from the shop broadcast as part of the show's content. For viewers, watching Christina's arrest was a sobering reminder that the consequences shown on hardcore pawn were real and could have lasting impacts on the lives of those involved. Her transformation from trusted employee to criminal suspect happened quickly and publicly, serving as a cautionary tale about the serious legal and professional consequences of workplace theft. The pattern of employee theft at both hardcore pawn locations highlighted the unique challenges faced by pawn shop owners, who must balance the need for security with the practical requirements of running a retail business that depends on customer service and employee efficiency. The betrayal of trust represented by these criminal activities went beyond simple financial losses to threaten the fundamental business model that made pawn shops viable enterprises. These cases of employee misconduct and criminal activity represented a dark chapter in hardcore pawn history that contrasted sharply with the entertaining drama that viewers typically expected from the show. They demonstrated that reality television could capture genuinely serious situations with real-world consequences that extended far beyond entertainment value. Not every departure from hardcore pawn involved criminal activity or personal tragedy. Some exits resulted from business decisions, career ambitions, and evolving personal priorities that reflected the natural progression of professional relationships under reality television scrutiny. Ashley Gold represented one of the most significant departures from the show. As Les Gold's daughter and a central figure in the family business, Ashley brought exceptional negotiation skills and conflict resolution abilities to American Jewelry and Loan. Her sharp wit and quick thinking made her particularly effective at diffusing tense situations while protecting business interests. The sibling rivalry between Ashley and her brother Seth became a defining characteristic of hardcore pawn. Their on-screen disagreements about business strategy and employee management reflected genuine differences in approach and philosophy. Ashley's business instincts often proved superior, particularly in situations requiring diplomatic handling of customer relationships. As the show progressed, Ashley's presence became less prominent in later seasons. Behind the scenes, she was questioning whether her future lay within the family business or in pursuing independent ventures. After Hardcore Pawn concluded, Ashley left American Jewelry and Loan entirely to launch her own online jewelry company. This decision allowed her to build a business reflecting her own vision while applying knowledge gained from years in the pawn industry. Rich Pile's departure represented one of the most shocking betrayals in the show's history due to his deep relationship with Les Gold spanning over 2 decades. Rich served as more than just a floor manager. He was a trusted partner whose judgment carried significant weight in business decisions. His calm demeanor during crises and ability to mediate family disputes made him indispensable to the shop's operations. The relationship between Rich and Les had been built through 25 years of shared experiences and mutual respect. Rich had witnessed American Jewelry and Loan's growth from a smaller operation into a successful business that became a television phenomenon. However, in 2012, it was discovered that Rich had been embezzling company money for an extended period. The betrayal shattered the foundation of trust that had supported their partnership for decades, leading to his immediate firing and departure from the show. Bobby Janiak's departure reflected the challenges faced by employees caught between reality TV and professional roles. Throughout 3 seasons, Bobby established himself as a skilled negotiator whose contributions extended beyond what viewers saw on screen. His workday began before cameras rolled, setting up displays and handling administrative tasks essential, but not dramatic for television. Unlike some reality TV participants, Bobby's income came entirely from his pawn shop employment, not television compensation. He was expected to fulfill regular employee responsibilities while participating in filming demands without additional pay for his TV work. Over time, Bobby felt this arrangement was inequitable given the show's success and his contributions to both business and television production. By 2016, Bobby decided he was not receiving appropriate value for his work and chose to leave on his own terms. His departure was notably clean, with no criminal charges or dramatic confrontations. Following his exit, Bobby successfully reinvented himself through media opportunities, working as a spokesperson, participating in other reality projects, and developing voiceover and streaming skills. Darren McCarty's case was unique because his hardcore pawn appearance was never intended as permanent employment. As a former NHL enforcer for the Detroit Red Wings, his visit to sell taxidermy animals led to an impromptu job offer from Les Gold. The idea of a former professional athlete working as a pawnbroker excited fans who imagined how his reputation might translate to handling difficult customers. However, Darren's brief stint was more publicity opportunity than career change. His appearance generated significant media attention, but he ultimately returned to his post-hockey pursuits rather than committing to the pawn industry long-term. These departures illustrate that reality TV environments create unique pressures extending beyond traditional employment. While some individuals thrived in this setting, others found that balancing real work with television production was unsustainable, leading them to pursue paths better aligned with their personal and professional goals. The various exit stories from Hardcore Pawn demonstrate the complex relationship between entertainment, business, and personal ambition in modern reality television.